It is Friday night, and that means it's time for one thing. It's time to talk birds, birds, birds. What's that other thing we talk about on here? Oh, yeah,
More
birds.
birds.
More birds. So do us a favor, kick back, relax, because another edition of Birds of the Gridiron starts right now. Evening, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome back into another edition of Birds of the Gridiron here on 609 Sports Talk Radio, coming to you guys live tonight from a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, Hamilton, New Jersey. This is, of course, the show that gets you guys all up to date with your Philadelphia Eagles offseason news, rumors that are actually legitimate rumors. We won't talk about that today, and all the latest draft and offseason content that you guys need surrounding those Philadelphia Eagles. And as always, we are your hosts, Sam Nelson, Tyler Adams. Mr. Adams, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, can't complain. End of another week, 1 week closer to the NFL draft.
Are we 2 weeks away? Woo!
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a busy week.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, we got a lot to talk about. We'll talk Eagles draft targets tonight. We're going to give some first round options for the Birds, where we think they could go. We'll talk some top 30 visits trackers. And we have a potential rumor going around about a trade up in the first round for a wide receiver. Not sure how true it is. Howie Roseman likes to do what Howie Roseman does. But, Tyler, you know what we haven't done in a while? We haven't hit the breaking news button. We haven't hit the breaking news button, so we're going to kick this episode off. You hit that way too early, so thank you very much. But it's been a while since we used the breaking news button. You're a crumb.
Couldn't contain my excitement.
We got breaking news that came out this afternoon, and the news is the Green Bay Packers have traded wide receiver Dontavian Wicks to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick, a 2027 sixth-round pick. I saw that. Nice try. And the Eagles have also signed Wicks to a 1-year, $12.5 million contract extension, keeping him in Philadelphia through the 2027 season. Tyler, what are our initial thoughts on the Dontavian Wicks trade?
Well, Sam, my initial thoughts are
Stop that.
excitement. I think this almost fully confirms, without it being official, that A.J. Brown will no longer be a Philadelphia Eagle. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen as early as the draft, if it's going to happen as early as June 1st. But before the season starts, 2026, I have a strong feeling that A.J. Brown will no longer be a Philadelphia Eagle.
Okay.
And that's been the topic of discussion for weeks on this show now, months. So much rumors swirling around, hearing this, not hearing that. But I don't think they would have made a move for Wicks. Now, granted, Wicks, I think he's going to come in. He's going to be a very good wide receiver 3. There's still going to be that need of a talented wide receiver next to Smitty. And like you said there earlier, that there were some rumors of them trading up for a wide receiver in the first round. Now we'll have to see what happens with that. If they do stay put at 23, if they do take one there, or if they take one in the second round, not sure. But I do feel like they will be taking a wide receiver early in this year's draft.
Okay. So initial thoughts were I was in agreement. And I'm going to play devil's advocate to this, just like I did last week. We were talking about all that Jalen Hurts stuff last week, which thank God we don't have to talk about that anymore. And notice something, not too much on the old Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown front from a certain reporter this week. Wish I'd go on leave after having some fun, but anyway, we're not gonna mention names. We're not gonna mention names. Scoring touchdowns on and off the field is different to some, so we'll just keep it where it is. I'm not gonna be that person. So anyway, I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate to this whole situation. Number one, I find it very odd for Eagles Twitter is all over this. They're trying to say like, oh, this doesn't mean they're not trading AJ, this and that. I've never seen a wide receiver 3 get $12.5 million in a year.
Yeah, it's the price definitely stood out because wide receiver 3 money, that's usually around maybe like 6 million, maybe 8 on a high end, but 12.5, that's a lot.
Wide receiver 3 money is what they gave Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
And for people saying that, oh, this is a trade for a camp body, you don't trade two draft picks and then give a guy $12.5 million as a camp body. No. Elijah Moore is a camp body. That's what a definition of a camp body is.
And I mean,
but now,
sorry to cut you off, but
go ahead.
Notice something. Who's offensive? Who's our offensive coordinator? Which team did he just come from?
Sean Mannion came from Green Bay.
Obviously, there's something that he advocated for to them. So far in his career, I mean, we've all joked about Green Bay's wide receiving room. He hasn't had the biggest splash, the biggest impact. But maybe there's something that Mannion sees in him as a value to this offense.
Also, if you look at it, look at, we say Green Bay doesn't have the true number 1 wide receiver, but they got 4 or 5 pretty damn good ones.
They do.
So he's kind of in that range of like he's kind of stuck behind the depth chart. Behind guys like, Watson, Reed, Dobbs, Golden this past year.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm going to play devil's advocate to this because, yes, he does come in he is familiar with Sean Mannion. Also is familiar with Ryan Mahaffey, who was their wide receivers coach last year, who is now the tight ends coach and run game coordinator over here. Ryan, what do you mean, what are we doing? We're talking Birds football.
What's up, Ryan?
What do we do? Ryan, what's up, buddy? How you doing? I hope you're having a good Friday. What do you mean, seriously? What are we seriously about? We're talking Birds. They made a trade for a wide receiver. They gave the guy $12.5 million. Talk about it. But no, so he's familiar with some of this coaching staff, yes. And when you bring in an offensive coordinator that's going to bring in a new style of offense, you need someone that knows how it operates. But now here's where I'm going to start to play devil's advocate. I know on the surface, this could all look about, oh, they're trading AJ. Oh my God, it's going to happen. We've been saying that for 6 freaking months now. However, I could play the devil's advocate role here and say, could this not be a solution to a big problem this passing game has had for years? As great as A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are together. Ryan, I knew you were. Ryan, you always like to joke with me. Always like to make the jokes. But Ryan, you know I love you, buddy. Appreciate you commenting. The Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan style of offense, which is what we think we're getting here with Sean Mannion. As great as wide receivers have been in those systems, they still space out targets to other players. If you look at the Eagles' passing game over the past 4 to 5 years, the target load is heavy. AJ, Devontae, and some Dallas Goedert. I mean, look, I know we like to sit back and think Dallas Goedert had this career year last year. He didn't even have 600 yards.
No, he did. He had his healthiest year. That's the career year. And I'm not upset about it, but
yeah, and he was a red zone demon last year. I'm not mad about it either. But I don't want to sit here and act like we had 2,000-yard receivers, an 800-yard tight end, and a 500-yard wide receiver 3. We literally, now I don't know if that's a Jalen being comfortable thing. I'm not blaming Jalen, just saying. Or if it's a Nick Sirianni offensive scheme type of thing, but the wide receiver 3 literally has not been utilized here ever.
You're right.
And to have a dynamic passing attack, you have to have options all over the field. Whether it's Smitty on the outside with AJ, whether it's Smitty in the slot with Hollywood Brown on one outside spot and AJ on another, or if it's AJ and Dontavian Wicks on each outside, or Smitty and Hollywood in the slot, you have to be able, especially when you go empty sets. When you go empty set, you have to kill teams everywhere.
Yeah.
So could this just be them adding another dynamic to a passing game that they are trying to fix? Yes, because it could be. Because again, I don't think we're in the class of wanting to trade A.J. Brown. I don't want to trade A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is giving us no choice but to want to trade A.J. Brown, because can we just get it over with?
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. If A.J. Brown were to just come out and say, I've thought about it. I apologize. I love playing in Philadelphia. This is where I want to be. Sure. Water under the bridge. Forget all the trade talk. He hasn't done that. He doesn't want to be here anymore. He came, he accomplished, he saw, still wasn't good enough. He needs more, and he's going to find that elsewhere.
Yeah. And Ryan brings up here, the new system of Mannion's that involves lots of motion, audibles, and changes prior to the snap make Hurts pass across the middle. Yes, Ryan, that's the style of play that offense requires. You have to be able to throw over the middle. And this is the part of Jalen Hurts that I even brought up last week when we were talking about that stupid article that came out. And, since another article came out about said NFL head coach and said NFL insider, notice all the Eagles chatter's gone away. Not going to mention names. I would need cheering up too if I lost to Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. I know that. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. Jalen Hurts is one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL. If you don't believe that, then you don't watch the games. You don't look at the stats. But there are parts of his passing game which I find really weird, how throwing over the middle is the issue, but somehow throwing deep balls is not. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of Jalen's passing issues have been reading a defense, making those reads pre-snap, making that second and third read post-snap. This is the offense that you have to be good at that. So I think a lot of this, what they're doing here is they're trying to make sure that he has options all over the field. And look, I get people are like, oh, well, we have a wide receiver 3 in the wings. How good do we know Darius Cooper is? How do we know he's going to be a productive NFL player?
He's good enough to make the roster. He's not a camp body. He'll make the roster. No. But what is his ceiling? We've seen guys come and show out before and then fade away. But I mean, that's just something we got to wait and see. He's going to have to earn his spot in the wide receiver room. And
also, if you look at the way that the Eagles wide receivers operate, there's the one thing I do love about the additions they've made to that room, I'm not trying to disrespect AJ or Devontae here. I'm not trying to disrespect them at all. They're not burners.
No.
They're chain movers. I have always said, I said this when they signed Hollywood Brown. I want to see 6 to 7 plays a game. I think that's a fair number of Hollywood Brown lining up on the outside, being that guy that could take a top off a defense, put Devontae Smith in the damn slot and watch him go to work. Can you name a nickel corner that could slow him down?
Probably not.
I can think of one.
Well, his teammate. That's about
yes,
it.
And the only time he'll go against him is in practice. I'm not saying Devontae Smith has to play the slot his whole career, but I'm saying is you have to be able to show different looks. If you just line up AJ and Devontae on the outside every single play of the game, Kevin Patullo, this is what's going to happen.
Keep defenses guessing. It's a lot easier to game plan if you know you can expect someone to be lining up on the outside every down. But if there's a down where they're lined up in the slot, then it starts to, the mind starts to turn. What's going to happen? The defense has to make a decision at that point.
I advocated this every freaking week. Tyler, be my witness. I have advocated this every week of the NFL season for the past 2 seasons, even back with Kellen Moore. Jahan Dotson was never utilized to his skill set.
Yeah, and that goes back to Washington, too.
No, I'm just saying here, Washington used him. Now, look, and when Anthony's on here, he does say Dotson was not having the best career in Washington. I don't think Jahan Dotson's ever going to be a wide receiver 1 on a team. I thought the Commanders took him way too high in the first round. I had a second, possible third round grade on him. I thought they reached for him. But Jahan Dotson, I watched the kid play every freaking snap of his collegiate career. If he was going to excel at somewhere in the NFL, it was going to be on the outside, not in the slot. If you go back to the Super Bowl and the way that they utilized him, he had 2 catches for 42 yards. One was an outside route, a seam up the sideline, which he caught down to the 2-yard line. The second one was a wheel route that he was in the slot, but he came up outside and caught the football. And then he ran for another 17. It doesn't take common sense to do that. But if you're Kevin Patullo, let's just throw him in the slot every play when he doesn't operate like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, I thought we were going to be friends tonight. Why are we doing this? All right, so the whole comment's not getting on the freaking screen, but hold on. Ryan, you are aware that AJ's best years yard-wise in his NFL career have come with Jalen at the quarterback position, right?
To sum this up very simply, Ryan, Jalen's not a perfect quarterback, but he is far from the reason of their struggles of last season.
He didn't help it.
He didn't.
But you're telling me
he didn't he couldn't put on the cape to make whatever Kevin Patullo's offense, whatever he calls it, he couldn't make his IHOP play call sheet look good.
Not Kevin Patullo's offense.
True. Well,
here's what I'll say. If Jalen Hurts was one of the biggest issues. Oh, no, Ryan, you're good. Ryan, we get paragraphs all the time. We will always read them off. It's just sometimes, like, if you look at the one, it won't show the entire thing. That's why we read these off camera, because they don't always show. Now, like the one you just put, that one comes up perfectly. You're good. We love the comments. We love to read these things. But here's the thing. If you wanted me to believe that Jalen Hurts was one of the biggest issues on this offense last year, then why did the owner and the general manager completely gut the head coach's offensive coaching staff? And don't tell me, oh, well, they kept Aaron Moorhead as wide receivers coach. Okay, cool. He's got no say in the offense. The top positions that they needed to fix, they needed a new run game coordinator. They needed a new pass game which, by the way, the run game coordinator and the offensive line coach, the best assistant coach that this team's had in over a decade, Nick basically kicked out the door. Not to mention that. We don't talk about that, though. New pass game coordinator. New offensive coordinator. It's an offense that hasn't adapted and adjusted and worked to develop in 4 years. I'm not saying that no one's perfect. I'm not saying that. But the offense has not adjusted or adapted to anything in 4 years. They just think that you can run the ball and throw hitch routes the entire game.
Yeah.
You're never going to be successful year in and year out if you don't adapt. I don't know, Ryan. How can they have two of the best wide receivers in the game and they have them running 10-yard routes and stopping every play?
How could Duke be so talented and lose to a comeback against UConn? They got outcoached. Coaching matters. Your talent is only as good as how you use it. And that comes down to the coaches.
Yes, because if you look at those games, the first halves of all those games, even in Buffalo, they were playing well. The weather in Buffalo was terrible. But in the first half, every drive was sustained and the ball was moving. They didn't score on all the drives, but they sustained long drives that kept Buffalo off the field. The second half, Ryan, here's how I look at it. In most football games, the first half is where your talent wins. But what do you do when the coaching staff on the other team makes adjustments? I can't name you one game outside of maybe the Rams game. And that wasn't even an adjustment. That was just using common sense. That Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni made key adjustments.
Well, it was mainly one key adjustment.
Yeah, just to throw the damn ball at all.
Well, that and to get, what was his name? It was the bum Pryor.
Oh my God! I still don't know whose genius idea that was.
Yeah, because they thought he was the next man up at right tackle if Lane went down. Not Fred Johnson, not the guy that you traded back for.
How he called down to the sideline. Did I not just trade for this man? I just got you this guy back. Put him in. So no, again, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and play the game of, first of all, and yes, Ryan, to the comment about all he does is win. Yes, he does. Because guess what? We haven't had a stretch of seasons of 11-plus wins in this city since 5 was here. And I'm sorry, you want to talk about success-wise, Jalen's already had a better Eagles career than 5 did. I don't care what the stats say. Jalen's already had a more successful career than 5 did here. Jalen at least won a Super Bowl before he ran his wide receiver out of town.
Yeah.
But again, some of this has to be put on the coaching staff. You know, Anthony likes to come on here and attack me about Nick Sirianni. I'm not saying Nick's a perfect coach. He's definitely not.
No.
Nick can be a good head coach. He just can't be a good freaking coordinator. Nick is better when he can just worry about the entire football team, focus on the team itself, and let the coordinators do their job. The problem is when and that's the thing. I get why last year happened because you got to understand, as a head coach, you got to look at it that way, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go back on your word, look what happened, right? Brian Johnson, 2023. Nick got involved. He's like, this crap ain't working. I'm stepping in. But then last year, he let Kellen basically take care of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So can we be fair? Nick was going to be kind of in a tight spot this past year. Do I get involved or do I give Kevin the trust I gave Kellen? It's kind of a double-edged sword. He was damned if he did, damned if he did.
Yeah.
Because you want to show, look, regardless of what you say about Kevin Patullo, Nick wants to show he at least trusts the guy. Now, clearly it wasn't the best idea to trust the guy, but again.
Yeah. So, to answer your comment, I don't think he's stuck in his ways. I I guess you're basing this off of the article that was released was a week ago now, 2 weeks ago now.
I don't want to
I don't
remember.
put a
So
lot
let's.
of stock into that article until I get some sources other than a team source. Because I never once heard Kellen Moore say anything about Jalen not being able to adapt and develop. Yeah, I get Kellen Moore this past year with the Saints. They ran a lot more motion plays. When he was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles offense ran more motion than they ever have. So
Yeah,
you're telling
and
me that wasn't him being able to adapt to that? I feel like Kevin Patullo thought that his job was just going to be sitting on a cruise after we just won a Super Bowl, and the team was just so extraordinarily talented that they were just going to cruise on to the Super Bowl again, and he wasn't going to have to lift his finger. I think Sean Mannion's actually going to be able to push Jalen and coach him to another level. And if Jalen can reach another level than what he's already at, then I mean, this offense could be in for some amazingly great things.
yeah, and that's the thing. They've redone every important position of the coaching staff. Well, Ryan, hold on. Brian, Kellen Moore was way more experienced than the others.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore had like 4 years in Dallas and then 1 year in LA. The others were all internal hires that were first time play callers. Now Brian Johnson called plays in college, but way different in the NFL.
That's college. And was it SEC football? If not, I don't want to hear about it.
I don't know where he was. I think it was in Florida, actually.
Really? So it might have been SEC football.
No, and Ryan, that's the other thing we have to take into the consideration. The guy has had a freaking 2 year play caller since Steichen left. Every year it's someone different.
It's either they have success and they leave, or they're terrible and they get fired.
But now back to the comment where he was talking about Hurts being stuck in his ways. If you remember the article, I still don't think it was a hit piece on Hurts. I still think a lot of it didn't make sense. But the one part of that article stated he right now is more willing to change things than he ever has been.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't just changing offensive coordinator. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have a new quarterbacks coach. They have a new freaking pass game coordinator. They have a bunch of new everything. They have changed over all the important parts of that offensive coaching staff. And we're going to find out within the first 6 weeks of the season who's running the offense. Because if I see the same crap that I saw last year, then we know exactly who's running the offense.
There's no shot Sirianni gets a chance at running the offense.
He'll be fired. They'll fire. They don't care.
There's no shot. You know he had to sit down with Jeffrey and Howie. Sirianni knows what his role is.
Yeah.
And it's keep that locker room together. Every single person fighting for the other one on the field.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I just don't like I said, I was trying to play devil's advocate before this entire Jalen Hurts tirade went on. When it comes to Dontavian Wicks, I think he is a very good wide receiver 3, even better wide receiver 4. But I think him and Hollywood are going to kind of they're going to use. I think you're going to see a lot of 4 receiver sets, a lot of empty sets in this offense. And if AJ is not here, then I'm assuming we're drafting one. If AJ is here, we got one of the deepest wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Something we haven't had since AJ and Devontae have been here.
I think we'll know if AJ's truly staying or going once the draft concludes.
Yeah.
We'll know it by day 2. If we don't take a wide receiver by day 2, then yeah.
He may still be here.
He probably will still be here.
Well, Ryan, here's the thing. You're saying he won't change or adjust to inexperienced play callers. I remember a play against the Denver Broncos that he threw a touchdown to Saquon Barkley on a wheel route, and they said that wasn't in the playbook. So who's not adjusting? Is it the quarterback or the offensive coordinator?
Mm.
I think Jalen made plenty of adjustments last year. He just didn't want to listen to Kevin Patullo and his idiotic play calling.
Yeah. And I mean, well, since we're talking about the article, there was another part of the article that mentioned how the whole offseason leading up to training camp, Jalen was preparing for a certain type of offense. And then come training camp time, Kevin Patullo's like, oh, hey, remember that? Yeah, we're doing something different. And apparently that's where they originally butted heads with each other. And there's Jalen Hurts, he's very introverted. He's not outgoing. But there is things that you can tell how he feels about. Back when Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator, I remember in training camp, he spoke in an interview and he stated that he was learning the playbook at a very quick rate and that it was very quarterback friendly and that he was excited to work with Kellen Moore that season. Oh, we went on to win a Super Bowl. Not one single time last year did I ever hear that he was happy that Kevin Patullo was the offensive coordinator and that he liked the way that he ran the offense. Not a single time. But then before, we already heard now that Jalen is very excited to be working with Sean Mannion and the new offensive ideas that he's bringing in. So he does kind of let you know how he's feeling. He's not extremely vocal about it. He's not AJ Brown talking about it every week. But you'll be able to tell.
Ryan, here's what I'll say. I wouldn't listen to Kevin Patullo either. And as for 2023, I don't think Jalen knew who to listen to in 2023 because Brian Johnson and him are best friends.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson's known his family since he was a kid. I think 2023 came to the point of Sirianni kind of like stuck his hand in that cookie jar and then just kind of ousted Johnson off of play calling from time to time. You know what? Fighting Philly makes perfect sense. I have said this for the last 3 days. That article, you don't hear nothing about 2024. You don't hear nothing about 2023. But all this is from this past year are team sources. That article was somebody close to Kevin Patullo had something to do with that article, unless it was Patullo himself.
Yeah.
That article was written by somebody close to Kevin Patullo and his people. They're mad because they got him fired after 1 year. Well, sorry, Jabron, you got yourself fired in 1 year.
You can't have, and this goes back to an earlier comment Ryan had about the multiple games with second halves of like under 5 completions and like a handful of receiving yards. Yeah, exactly. That's not on the offense. That's on the coaching. Because if you can't coach up a series of plays to move the damn football, get off the field. That's a joke at the NFL level.
Well, let me explain to you the Eagles' offense last year. Run up the middle, go ball. Run up the middle, hitch route where the corner's 2 inches away from AJ or Devontae.
Well, you forget the run up the middle, go ball, 3rd and long, run up the middle.
Oh, dear God. And, like, here's another thing that just told you how out of touch that offensive staff was last year. What is the one thing you know about a running back coming off of the amount of touches Saquon did? He is going to get exhausted by midseason because his body, not only coming off a year he had, played the most football out of anybody in the NFC, the NFC. The Chiefs and Eagles played the most football out of anybody in 2024. And you're just kidding. This, Howie Roseman literally says to you, here's a running back. His name is Tank. I give you him so you can spend Saquon some touches. They wouldn't. The only reason they used him in the last week of the season is because Saquon was freaking inactive.
Yeah.
Like, that is how out of touch Kevin Patullo was. The most common sense thing in the world. When a running back has that amount of touches in 1 year, you don't burn him out the second year because there's going to be some tread off of the tire. And he refused to use Tank Bigsby as a second runner. If Tank Bigsby had 12 carries a game last year, Saquon would have been way more fresh during the season, and we may have been able to actually run the football effectively last year.
I mean, you speak about effectively. When he got traded to the Eagles, which he only played one game with the Jags last year, he averaged 5.9 yards per carry. Now imagine, like you said, you forget the 12 carries a game. If he had 8 carries a game, imagine what he could have done. He ended the season with 58 carries for 344 yards. If they would have gave Saquon a little more rest, and we saw the games that they actually did give Tank some more carries along with Saquon, they both killed it. Wasn't there one game they both almost had like over 100 yards each?
It was the Giants game.
Yeah, the Giants game.
The second Giants game, that is.
Yeah, the first one, that was a nightmare. That was the early showings of Kevin Patullo. And yes, I know there was an ugly Jalen Hurts missed pass early in the second half. I was there. I remember.
To Jahan Dotson.
He's like, wait, that's not big A.J. Brown.
Saquon Barkley had 14 for 150 in that game. Tank had 9 for 104. He averaged more yards a carry than Saquon did. Like what were we doing? And then here's the worst thing. That was the game before the bye. They couldn't take the bye week to implement some plays for Tank Bigsby. After a week, he averaged more yards than Saquon. Like, what are we doing here?
Like I said,
what are we actually doing here?
Kevin Patullo got offered an opportunity to cruise out the whole season and hope that the team would just remain the same as it did under Kellen Moore. And they make another run toward the Super Bowl. He didn't actually think he was going to have to coach or put in a lot of work for it to happen. Second half adjustments, what's that? Let's just win the game in the first half, guys, and then we'll cruise it out. I'll go sit up in the booth and relax for a little bit. No one will be able to change my mind on Kevin Patullo. Never.
People talk about Vic Fangio almost retiring. I guarantee. Remember, they said it came shortly after they won the Super Bowl, and then it came again this year. Now, we know why it happened this past year. I'd want to retire, too, if I had to carry Kevin Patullo's ass through 18 games. Here's the question I have. When he almost retired after the Super Bowl, when did that occur is what I want to know. Was it before or after Kevin Patullo was promoted?
Ooh.
I want to know that question.
Maybe he saw something. He was like, oh, no. Do not put the play call sheet in his hands.
And the crazy part about that whole thing, how you just said it, how Jalen really never advocated for Kevin Patullo. Did you know who did advocate for him?
Who?
Receivers. The guy who he's supposed to coordinate their stats, and they advocated for him. Like, dude, what the? I want to forget last year's ever happened.
Yeah. Last year was rough in the recent history of Eagles football.
But again, if a down year for this regime is 11 wins, I'm not going to be
winning the division, then yeah.
Exactly.
Sure. We can deal with it. There's a lot less fortunate NFL team fan bases out there.
Now, if we go into the season and the offense looks fixed and it looks like it's going to be a top offense for years to come, the first team that says they are requesting to interview Sean Mannion, I am not going to fire Nick. I'm going to give Nick. Listen. Listen.
We're promoting him into the front office.
Yes, I'm going to do what the Celtics did with Brad Stevens. I'm moving him to the front office,
Oh
and Sean,
my.
you're now the head coach.
Oh
Josh
my.
Broussard, you're the OC.
Jeez.
Like I can't go through the stuff with the offensive coordinator stuff again. I need Sean Mannion here a minimum of 3 years, at least 3
Yeah,
years.
I mean, it's very hard because like Nick Sirianni, we know who he is, but he is a good coach. Is
Yes.
he an Andy Reid in the sense of runs his
No.
own offense, a mastermind? He's not,
No.
but he has his own thing that does clearly work, or else he would
Yeah,
have been
whatever it
fired
is.
after 2 years.
Yeah. George, I don't know what you're talking about. But no, but that's the point. I'm like I said, Sirianni's not a Kyle Shanahan. He ain't Sean McVay. He's not Andy. But clearly, there is something there that works because the guy has had a track record of winning. He has been to 2 Super Bowls. He has won a Super Bowl. He has been to the playoffs every single year that he's been a head coach. That is not easy to do in this league. And you want to talk to me about, oh, he has this, he has that. Okay. And Andy Reid's career was what before Patrick Mahomes showed up? Bill Belichick's career was what without Tom Brady?
Oh no, maybe we should go down to North Carolina. Oh wait.
Whoa. So, miss me with this stuff, dude. Miss me completely with it.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about Dontavian Wicks or are we still talking about the Eagles offense?
I don't even know anymore. But my final thoughts on Wicks. Definitely, again, Sean Mannion saw something in him, advocated for him to have the Eagles bring him over from Green Bay. And last year, 30 catches, 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like you said, they spaced that ball out a lot in the Green Bay offense. They didn't really just have guys who were like, 1,000-yard receivers. They had a lot of guys who all made average impacts. But definitely, he's
Yeah.
not a camp body. It's a
No.
solid trade. It definitely strengthens the wide receiving room. And we're going to have to wait until the draft wraps up to see if A.J. Brown will stay or go. But I definitely think that this trade kind of points in the direction that they are expecting him to go.
Yeah. And again, now some of the looks on Wicks is, he's got elite route running, creates some good separation in the intermediate game. Not the greatest break deep speed. Okay, that's fine. I don't need him to be that. But no, he's a very good wide receiver 3. And if he is a wide receiver 2, he's a low end wide receiver 2. And that's not to disrespect him. Now,
Yeah.
look, I could be wrong. Because again, he was buried on a depth chart in Green Bay with Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs, Jalen Reed, Christian Watson. That's a pretty damn talented 4 right there. Then you go to Dontavian Wicks. Oh, not to mention, by the way, Tucker Kraft is also on that offense too.
Oh, yeah. Their leading receiver.
Yeah, and that, honestly, that's the injury that killed Green Bay last year. But if you look at this, experience with Sean Mannion, worked with Ryan Mahaffey last year, because Mahaffey, yes, he's the tight ends coach and the run game coordinator here, but last year he was Green Bay's wide receivers coach, which is why Green Bay had to go to Penn State and hire Noah Pauley. God damn you, Packers.
Oh, Sam.
It's okay. We're okay. Penn State's looking good this year. We're okay. But no, like I said, if he's the wide receiver 3, perfect addition. If he's the 2, I would assume there's a rookie that they're going to want to get a lot of playing time for. But again, if you look at the style of offense, it's not, yes, McVay's offense has Puka, Devontae Adams. They don't need to throw the football to them every time. They will draw up plays to find someone else to get them open. I mean, Tutu Atwell's getting paid a lot of money every year just to be a wide receiver 3.
He is.
And I'm pretty sure Tutu Atwell probably caught more balls in the past 2 years than Jahan Dotson did. But if you look, let's go to another disciple of the Sean McVay offense, Matt LaFleur. We're talking about a deep Packers wide receiver room, right? Where Wicks was the fit. They were still getting the football to all five of these guys,
Yeah.
including Tucker Kraft and having Josh Jacobs being tops in the league in rushing last year. They are still getting the football to 5 or 6 guys. I think that is the style of offense they also want. It's basically pick your poison. Who do you want to beat you this time? AJ, Devontae, Dallas, Wicks, or Hollywood? Oh, by the way, here 26, here's a handoff for you. That's the style of offense I think they really want. I'm not
Yeah.
advocating that AJ 100% is going to be here next year, but here's where I'm at. AJ Brown is a Philadelphia Eagle until he isn't.
Yeah.
And when the trade goes down, if it does, we'll talk about it then.
And we'll talk
All
about
I
it
know
next
is,
week, and the week after that, and the week after that.
well, next week I'm not sure what we're gonna have. Maybe we'll do some Eagles mock drafts next week because I don't know if we're gonna carry the draft shows on here or with Unbiased next week. I think Unbiased will probably carry the draft shows, so that's what I think is gonna look like for next week. Speaking of the draft, good segue, Tyler.
You're welcome.
We do have a first round pick, number 23rd overall. Got some first round targets that we like. Shall we get into them?
Well, let's talk about it.
All right. So, I think these are the realistic positions the Eagles are targeting day one: offensive line, wide receiver, tight end, safety, possibly corner, possibly, and possibly edge. Maybe.
I still don't see corner day one. Maybe safety.
Safety, I think, is very realistic day one. I thought, all right, so corner, I only have one name, but because I know how much they've liked him so far. Edge, I have only 2 edge rushers that have first round grades where they'll be picking. So, what position would you like to start at?
Let's start. Let's start with edge.
All right, so I have 2. I got Clemson's TJ Parker,
Okay.
who I think would be a tremendous fit. And then the only other one I think will be around that area in the first round would be Miami's Akeem Messidor. But I don't know if Messidor is really a fit.
Yeah, I mean, one of the guys I had was Akeem Messidor. The rest of them, they don't scream pick 23 to me. But if Messidor is there, I think it's a high possibility that they do go for him.
You ain't a TJ Parker guy?
He's good, but picking 23rd overall good, I kind of view him more as like a early to mid second round pick.
Okay. He did have a down year at Clemson, but I mean, that whole Clemson team had a down year.
Oh yeah, you got that right.
I mean, when I was looking at way too early mock drafts last year, they had TJ Parker going top 15. But I mean, only having 5 sacks. But I think a lot of teams would take him off his potential.
Oh yeah.
So, okay. So we're both there with Messidor. I mean, if you need to know what Akeem Messidor does, go watch the college football playoff replays.
Oh man.
Which, guys, by the way, for all the draft experts out there, please keep telling me that Ruben Bain isn't a top 10 pick because his arms are short. Please keep telling yourself that.
Keep putting out those articles enough for him to fall down to 23. Because if he is, forget anything.
Forget everything we talked about.
Forget me talking about they're going offensive line 100% hands down. It'll be Ruben Bain.
Don't get mixed up with Durin's Bane from Lord of the Rings. All right, where we want to move up next in our possible first round pick targets.
Let's go over to. I got a quick one. Well, kind
Okay.
of segues into both offensive line. Start with guard.
I've only got
Man,
one guard that's going to be in that. If he's there, he's there.
please, please. It would.
Vega Iguane.
It would be. It'd be such a good pick.
I
To
trade
have
the pick if he's not there.
trade the pick if he's not there. Wow.
He is such a special player. And on a Penn State O line that was great in 2024, it was
Mhm.
good last year, but it wasn't as dominant as it was in 2024. Oh my God, was he ridiculous, though? The rest
Ooh,
of them struggled. He was amazing throughout the entire season.
dude, they got him. Sting immediately goes back to backup swing tackle or guard because he's good at guard, and we still have Fred Johnson, so he'll be the swing tackle.
Yeah, so
But oh
you're
man,
okay with taking us. You're good. You're cool with taking the straight up just the guard.
oh yeah, I'm cool with that. If they take guard, cool, because I still look at it as okay. What's the future after Tyler Steen? Because I don't
Ty-
know. I
Tyler
don't. I
Steen's a
still don't.
trade piece if
Yeah,
they draft Vega.
exactly. I still don't know if he's going to develop into a full time starter at right guard. And then we don't know if Dickerson's going to play another year of football out after 2026. So it's definitely one thing that they need to be mindful of.
Oh, trust me, I'll tell you now. If they are not drafting just one offensive lineman in this
Oh
draft.
no, not at all. So then that brings us to the other potential pick at 23. Offensive tackle, the future lane replacement.
You know who I want. If he's there, you know who I want.
You want wait, you
I
wanted
want
was it
Monroe
Freeling?
Freeling.
Freeling,
I
yeah.
want Monroe Freeling. You know this.
I don't think he's gonna be there. I
That's
think
the thing.
he's like a
Vega's
Reuben
not going to be
Bain.
there either.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be there.
But there's still some
if
options.
if Caden Proctor is there, Sam.
Oh God, I'm trading back.
Damn,
Oh no!
trading back.
Did you
There's
hear
a
the
chance
rumors of
he
that
could
today?
what?
The Cleveland Browns may take him at 6.
I was gonna say there's a chance he could be off the board before 23.
I will buy a Caden Proctor Browns jersey to wear if they take him at 6 and keep him as far away from my team as possible.
What about I think a realistic one could be Spencer Fano from Utah.
Fano, so Spencer Fano is actually being labeled as possibly the second best tackle in this draft behind the kid from Miami, but his teammate Caleb Lamo is the one that is also a realistic option at 23. I don't want to get too much into our top 30 visits tracker, but he had a top 30 visit with the Eagles yesterday.
Oh, really? Oh, so
Yes.
that he's probably one they're keeping an eye on because he's probably going to be there in the 20s.
George, I'm only doing it if the Browns take Caden Proctor at 6. I will be the biggest Browns fan ever.
So are you going to buy a Caden Proctor Browns jersey?
If they keep him away from my team, absolutely.
Oh my damn! You really don't like him that much.
No, I don't. I'm not a kid. I don't. He doesn't translate as a tackle.
So what if a team drafts him and transitions him to guard?
Okay, that's fine.
What if the Eagles did that?
I still don't like him.
He could be fine on any other team. Sam does not want him on the Eagles.
I just don't like him. I don't like him. I mean, I'm not a guy. He's not one of my guys.
That's fine. But then there's still another one on my list, but they're not for them to draft him at 23. Gennings Dunker.
Gennings Dunker's not a first round pick, man. Come on.
I know, out of Iowa. Like I said, not a first round pick, but man, the name.
The name is a first round pick.
Gennings Dunker.
Two other options you also have are Max Anchor from Arizona State. I know I just butchered his name. That's definitely not how you pronounce it. I will learn it by next.
Well, I'm
by
not going to
the draft.
try it, so you did good.
But another one, the safer pick for the lane replacement could also be Clemson's Blake Miller. That's another option there in the first round. I could probably trade down to 27, recoup an extra pick, and probably snag him. So
Blake
unless
Miller,
the Eagles like him that much, I
what's
don't.
our pick in the second round?
54, I want to say.
54. It'd be cutting it close, but he could be available in the second round.
They've been going through a lot of tackles that are projected to be into the second or third round. Like I told you, you guys can talk about the first round. You don't have to draft Lane's replacement in the first round.
I think it's realistic that they don't.
They are going to draft the best football player available.
They will. If that's wide receiver, they're going to do it. If it's tight end, Kenyon Sadiq, they're going to do it.
That's the only I have that on my list. He's the only tight end on my list.
So I guess that's another good segue.
Tight end. I'm out on
there's only
I'm
one
out on Eli Stowers, by the way.
Out completely or just out first round?
Teams are projecting him more as a wide receiver. I'm not doing that.
Oh. I'm shocked that he gets that tag and not Kenyon Sadiq. Because Sadiq's not a traditional tight end either.
He's different.
He is different. That is true. He is.
Now, here's the question. What if we're sitting there and Ioane...
No, don't give me these situations again. I did this to you like 2 shows ago. No.
And Monroe Freeling are all there.
No. You know what? I'm taking Caden Proctor. Just playing a safe pick.
That's not a safe pick. It's like drafting Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson again.
Too soon.
Hey, you did. No, it's not. All right. So we've gone offensive line. We've talked about Kenyon Sadiq. I mean, he's the best tight end in the draft.
Talked about edge. Kind of basically, if it's pick 23, it's Messador or nothing.
You could sell me on TJ Parker. He is a first-round pick. He's a good player.
I think he's a good player, but pick 23 might be stretching it.
Yeah, so trade back 4 spots.
So I don't have anyone for corner. Who was the one that you were looking at?
Avion Terrell from Clemson, AJ Terrell's brother.
Oh, okay.
If they don't want to give Reek Woolen, if Reek Woolen doesn't work out, Terrell will easily go right into that number 2 corner spot and with freaking Quignon, and it will be just fine.
Okay.
I have I always have my list of Sam's guys in the draft. My guys in this draft right now are Terrell, Monroe Freeling, and Ioane. Those are my 3 guys so far. But I have a 4th guy too, but we haven't gotten him yet.
So let's go over to safety. What do you realistically think? I think the one that makes the most sense is the kid from Toledo,
McNeil Warren.
Yeah,
and the only other one that I see is Dylan Thieneman from Oregon.
Yeah, if he's there,
they are going to try to find their version of Nick Emanwari.
Yes.
Andrew Makuba's job will be to sit back there and command the center field role as the 1 safety. But they are going to look for a safety that is versatile, that could play up in the box, that could play in the nickel, that could play the deep safety, that can move all over the field like Emanwari. Thieneman and McNeil Warren, 2 of the best safeties in this draft, and it's a deep safety draft.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if
he's still a name in there, too.
Oh.
Not first round. Not talking about that, but I'm talking about later in the draft, maybe like 3rd round.
Zaki, I mean, if you're going to play the 2 high safety look a lot, yes, but I don't know if he's kind of fits that versatile role that we're talking about.
Yeah, they kind of need someone to play in the box.
Don't get me wrong. Back there, he'll save you a bunch of touchdowns. I can't tell you how many times he saved our freaking Jim Knowles' butt this past season.
I mean, I think McNeil Warren's he's a strong one to consider if he's on the board with some of those other guys we were talking about. Because, I mean, he's someone who they say just natural playing in the box. I mean, we haven't seen that since
Malcolm.
Yeah, that's it.
Gee, I wonder what happened with the last defensive back we took out of Toledo. He's pretty good last time I checked.
Yeah. I think it was a pretty good choice.
Yeah, so it's either going to be McNeil, Warren, or Thieneman. They're the two best safeties in the draft, and it's a deep safety draft, so they may go with one a little later. But the ones like they've talked with Jalen Kilgore from South Carolina, another one who
Mhm.
plays that nickel role that could play in the box, that could play back there in that deep safety role. The one thing
Again,
that you are going to see that they are prioritizing what the safeties are talking to are versatility.
yes.
Makuba, we know what his role is.
Mhm.
They're looking for somebody that can be a versatile weapon like a Nick Imanwari.
Yeah. Who can do it all? Come in the box, stop the run, move sideline to sideline. So yeah, I safety will be within by round 3. I think that's a strong possibility.
Without a doubt. And remember, they have a first this year, a second, 2/3, and 2/4. So there could be a lot of players next year that are from this draft class that are making high impacts. And then that leaves us to one position.
Running back.
Yes, they're taking Katron Allen.
No, I thought they were going to go with Nicholas Singleton.
Yeah, he broke his foot at the freaking Senior Bowl. I'm not sure.
Oh, did he really?
I'd still, if I'm a team, I'm still taking taking him. They both can
Yeah,
play.
he'll get drafted. I don't know how high, but he'll get drafted.
Well, hold on. Singleton played a lot better after a certain bald head got fired. So
Katron's still better.
he's a better runner.
Well, isn't it called running back? Damn it!
He offers you zero in the passing game.
Hey, teams can win like that. Look at the
I'm not saying you
Seahawks.
can't. I'm just saying what Singleton does better than Katron. That's all I'm saying.
All right, all right, all right.
Some Penn State record breakers. You got the Penn State all-time leading rusher and the Penn State touchdowns leader.
So
Take your pick. Which one do you want?
let's talk about the wide receiver that the Eagles are trading up for.
So the report that's come out is that Arizona State's Jordan Tyson could possibly slip into that 17 to 23 range due to some concerns over his medicals.
Yeah, torn ACL, broken collarbone, hamstring. I'm sorry. He could have a lot of upside and potential. I don't want to. I don't want him in the first round. If
He's
teams
going in
if
the first round.
if teams want to take him in the first round, go ahead. If he ends up never getting hurt again or missing significant time in his NFL career, great for him. I do not want to take that risk.
That's fair.
I get it. It's football. Anything can happen, but things tend to happen more frequently when there's a history of it already occurring. And from seeing Achilles, was it Achilles? No, hamstring and ACL. Ask Keenan Allen about his hamstrings.
Ask AJ Brown about his hamstring. I think that hampered him a lot this
Yeah,
year.
exactly. I think Howie will look at the word hamstring and say, nope, we're not doing it.
So then I guess that leaves. I mean, I have three other receivers outside of Tyson.
I got a couple. I
I got
think a
Denzel.
realistic one. Where are you going to go?
I have Denzel Boston from Washington. I haven't watched much of his
Denzel
tape yet.
Washington?
Denzel Boston from Washington.
Denzel Washington. You know what? I'll take him just because of that.
What's your next? Who's one you have?
Mine's Omar Cooper. I mean, he's probably going to be in that range, early 20s. I think if he's on the board, he's another one they got to go with.
I may take him over any. If my O linemen are available, I still may take Cooper over both of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to.
Such a.
It's really hard not to.
And remember, this was a guy coming from an Indiana team that was supposed to. Their wide receiver one is supposed to be Elijah Surratt. He's a third round projected.
Yeah.
Omar Cooper's that special of a talent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how. If he's there, take him. Just simple.
I mean, guy had 69 receptions for 937 yards, 13 touchdowns. And I think he's the perfect wide receiver to put opposite of Devontae Smith.
Oh yeah, I agree.
6 foot 204. He's the perfect wide receiver to put opposite of Devontae Smith. If the team now look, guys, if the team ain't trading AJ Brown, then nothing we're saying matters. But we are still under the impression that AJ wants to be traded.
Yeah.
We're not speculating. We don't know. As of right now, he is an Eagle, but it sounds like he still wants to be traded. So
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We got to think of these possibilities. And this is honestly, if they take a wide receiver in round 1, AJ's got to be as good as gone. There's got to be a deal already worked out.
You're not adding 4 wide receivers to your roster and saying, "Oh yeah, we're keeping all these guys."
Yeah.
George, yes, I passed on Justin Jefferson. I got Devontae Smith the next year. I traded for AJ Brown the next year. We've been to 2 Super Bowls with them, and Justin Jefferson has JJ McCarthy and Mini Me throwing him the football. That's how my life's going.
Mini Me, wow.
Shout out Diego Pavia.
Jesus. Man.
What
if they draft Diego Pavia?
If the Vikings draft Diego Pavia, I swear to God,
that's got to be like one of the shortest quarterback rooms.
Do you remember when you were in school? We had field day. I want to have him and Kyler do a field day at practice. And the only other wide receiver that I have is Texas A&M's KC Concepcion.
KC Concepcion.
The speedy guy, not the deep threat, but you get the ball in his hands, playmaker.
Yeah. The yards after the catch.
So another guy that, you put into an offense that it sounds like it's going to be a Sean McVay type. I mean, this past year, 61 catches, 919 yards, 9 touchdowns. Could definitely be another option. 5'11", 190 pounds. So, yeah, he's going to be more of that speed threat playmaker type.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they took either him or Omar Cooper, I'd be happy. Denzel Boston, not sure on him yet. Tyson, the talent's there. If he's healthy, the talent, he's better. He's more talented than these other 3. But it's that injury history. If it's that big of a concern, I don't know how willing I am to go for it. Well, those are all my first-round targets.
Yeah, those are all mine. But we could probably just do a whole 30-minute debate off of if all these guys are available, who do they go with?
Do they trade up with every team?
Oh my gosh.
Or, you could do what WIP does, suggest trading Jalen Hurts for the first overall pick. Yeah. Yes, it was brought up today.
Oh, slow news week, huh?
Oh, well, we can't talk about AJ.
Yeah.
Because,
slow news week.
Somebody's playing honeymoon on their off days.
Yeah.
Except just with someone else's significant other, not their own. I'm not mentioning names. I would say this person sucks. It just has nothing to do with their reporting. But anyway,
whoa.
Well, their reporting sucks too, but you know what I mean.
Whoa.
Top 30 visits. We have updates. So I do have an update from somebody that I reported last time on the show had a top 30 visit. Memphis offensive tackle Travis Burke actually will not have a top 30 visit with the Eagles due to a schedule issue, but he will have a virtual meeting with the team at some point before the draft. So now, here is the latest batch of top 30 visits for the Eagles. They've met with San Diego State corner Chris Johnson, who in the second round, you're looking for a long-term answer, maybe just as good. He's another one of my guys I really like. Arizona defensive back Traden Stukes, who is another guy, kind of reminds me of Jalen Kilgore. Could play the nickel, could play the deep safety. He could play all over the field. Another versatile defensive back.
Okay.
Oregon offensive tackle Isaiah World, who was projected to be a late first-round pick before tearing his ACL against Indiana in the playoff. So there's another option for a possible Lane Johnson replacement. They've also spoken with Boston College offensive lineman Jude Bowery. They, like I mentioned earlier, they did have a top 30 visit with offensive tackle Caleb Lamo out of Utah. And they've also met with Texas A&M guard Chase Bezanis, Texas Tech wide receiver Caleb Douglas, and Ole Miss wide receiver Dezon Stribling. So they are meeting with some wide receivers.
Yeah, he's another one. Like, if they don't go wide receiver in the first round, there's still a lot of good options where they could address it in the second round, maybe the third. Because I mean, I was another one who said I think there's still a lot of potential there with Elijah Surratt. So
Yeah,
if they don't go wide receiver in round one, they could still take a look at him.
you've been on that Elijah Surratt train for a while.
I mean, if AJ goes, having one big frame wide receiver is a good addition to the room of Devontae Smith, Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah, there's definitely some options. Yeah, I think, and that's the kind of offense you want, where you don't have to take a wide receiver in the first round. I could take one in round 3, and I could still turn him into a productive wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Like that's the one part of the Eagles coaching staff that I really gets on my nerves sometimes. We don't develop. Vic's unit does. They develop everybody.
Oh yeah.
But like that's what I think they want from this offensive coaching staff. They want to be able to draft and develop these guys, and they've done okay with some. But I mean, Devontae Smith was going to be a great wide receiver no matter where he went.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what, George? That seems like a fair deal. We'll give you some cheesesteaks.
No onions?
They don't hate. I'm on that same clan.
Oh, all right, Sam. Yeah, you're also drinking a glass of milk with it too.
Ew, that's disgusting. Who would do such a thing? You gotta give me a Coke with that. Yeah, or at least a
Coke, not a
Turkey Hill
Pepsi.
iced tea. Or at least give me a Turkey Hill iced tea. My God, you are terrible. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Adams?
No, that's about it. I can't wait for the draft to come around. It's a special time of year in the anticipation of a new NFL season.
Oh, yes. Guys, just know this. 2 weeks from now, it's going to be a very busy week here at 609. But once again, guys, before we get out of here, every week we do these shows. Every week you guys show up, you show out, you show us your love with the comments. We appreciate talking to every single one of you guys. And we love the fact that when it comes to, and there are so many places you can go for your sports talk. There's so many outlets, so many podcasts. And you guys choose us week in, week out for your sports talk, and we 100% appreciate you guys for it. You make these shows worthwhile. I'm not doing that last comment, so
Hashtag milkman.
good Lord.
We'll get that trending on the draft show.
We will not. But once again, guys, we thank you every week for showing us the love and support that you do. We just hit 800 followers here on the good old Facebook, so thank you all for helping us reach that mark. And like I said, so many places to go for sports talk. You guys choose us every week, and we greatly appreciate it. But with that being said, we're going to wrap up the week. We hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll be back at it on Monday. Then we're going to do some NBA talk as the playoffs start next week. Last regular season games are wrapping up this weekend, and we could talk about the cursed franchise that is the Philadelphia 76ers.
No. We'll be able to talk about the franchise sitting in 10th place and now has to go through the playing gauntlet. I hope they lose. You. I hope they lose.
You probably will.
I don't want them to win the play-in. to get the 8th seed. No.
I still think the play-in is stupid because all you're doing is rewarding teams for being under 500.
While that is true, technically the Heat are only one game behind the 8th seed, who are the 76ers. I mean, when you look at it from that regard, yeah. But let's say if it was like the Bucks who have 31 wins and the next team has 42, then yeah, that's a bit of a bigger gap. I don't think, but I mean, the play-in is just good for the Eastern Conference because there's so many teams that have close records.
You mean the Eastern Conference?
Basically. Oh, I can't wait for the new Seattle team. Send over one of those good Western Conference teams. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get the rebuilding Memphis Grizzlies.
What are we talking about right
I
now?
don't know. Wrong show.
Save it for Unbiased on Monday.
Wrong show.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this episode of Birds of the Gridiron up. Thank you, everyone who threw their comments in tonight. Thank you, everyone who watched along with us. We hope we guys got you ready for some more Eagles draft talk. Next week, probably will do an Eagles mock draft on the show. Why not? That could be a fun little topic. And we'll keep you guys updated on the latest Eagles draft buzz and news. And hey, who knows? Maybe that psychopath GM of ours will make another trade. We know he loves to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather. It's supposed to warm up. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. For Tyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody.
The following has been a presentation of 609 Sports Talk Radio.
Sam, what did you do?